So I guess I should tell you about my trip now, finally. So we started off driving, my family, my best friend, and we started making the 2-day drive out to Utah, to the lake, and it was a very long drive. We drove and drove, and I never quite realized how enormous our country is until this time around making that drive. And this whole time, driving and on the trip, really, I kept thinking about how much of the things we were seeing looked so naturally beautiful, but were actually fake, from the canyons we drove through to the lake that we saw, which is man-made, but how all of these man-made, these fake things, attributed to the natural beauty that we got to see. We got to the lake, and I was a little bit astounded by how beautiful it was, by the serene calmness. This is a man-made lake. It's not real. But even though it's man-made, it's still beautiful, and I would have never have seen the beauty of this lake if people hadn't essentially ruined it. While on the trip, we also made a trip out to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which was beautiful, and we decided to hike it. A hike that I almost died on, mind you. So we hiked about 2 miles to a point in the Grand Canyon that was a tunnel. And we hiked, and it was really long and gruesome, but beautiful, and the views were gorgeous. But we got to the tunnel, and turns out the tunnel was fake. It was created by humans blasting through rock, and again, essentially ruining something naturally beautiful, but at the same time, creating something beautiful. So whether I was looking at something natural that took nature millions of years to create, or something that was blasted to make within a matter of seconds by a human, everything was still beautiful, and I was still in awe. I think that sometimes we destroy things to make beauty, and sometimes we have to destroy things to be able to see the natural beauty, like Rainbow Bridge. If it hadn't been for this man-made lake, this fake thing, we, as the human race, would probably have never been able to find Rainbow Bridge again. We probably wouldn't be able to see it as easily as we do now. So sometimes we destroy things to find them. I realized through this whole trip how small I am in volume compared to everything, compared to these giant rocks, compared to the Grand Canyon, compared to the distance that we had to travel to get there, how minuscule I am, yet how much of this my brain can fathom, and I think that's awesome.